Secret Service says was a credible...
Devastating. The World Trade Center is no more.
And there's a tremendous dust plume there kicking up anytime something like that collapses. Yes, you have.
Headed back on Air Force One from Florida to the White House. The White House itself.
Be alive. Certainly that picture tells it all. Many of them just happy to be alive.
This generation, remember?
Oh yeah, they're still not sure what's happening with the other planes. That's pretty screwed up.
World Trade Center, let's...
You don't have any family? I got 2 sons over here right now.
They are, first of all, trying to get into the rubble and the debris to save as many people as possible. It's still
thousands at the moment, guided into that as a suicide plane.
It's sort of a chemical.
Hey, in the Fox Newsroom, thank you very much. It's not surprising that we haven't heard from the president yet. He took off from Florida, where his scheduled events have been canceled for the day. He took off from Florida probably around 9:30 this morning.
On Trinity, we heard this rumbling sound, sounded like an earthquake. The next thing you knew, one of the towers...
There would be these huge booms, and wherever people were, there were just clouds of thick dust. I mean, downstairs we've been seeing people, anybody who was near it, just covered with dust, caked with this sort of ash gray dust. One man coming out said that he had been in dust so thick he thought he was never going to make it through, and that he was saved by the funny thing, but when the dust cleared they did see bodies around on the ground. I spoke to one person who'd been on the 87th floor who ended up running down the stairs because the elevators weren't working, and he said that he was actually at the building between the 2 explosions, and it doesn't seem like there's much public transportation that's working. And the mayor said it's impossible to describe the level of anger at anyone who could do something like this.
Twin Towers, and in fact around the country on WBGO. Neil Conan from NPR in Washington. We will be returning there shortly.
Buildings evacuated as a precaution.
There's all the smoke coming up.
Interrupted regular programming and are showing non-stop live pictures from New York and Washington. Sylvia Foggioli.
You're also listening to it on WBGO.
You can see it from so far away.
FM. I'm Gary Walker. Doug
the remains of the World Trade Center.
And
of exit 11 on the turnpike. They will not let you go any further than that. If you're heading southbound, heading home. And WBGO is taken there instead, of course, returning to Washington, Sarasota, Florida.
You can really see flames from so far away. It's incredible.
Basically said we will not stand for any terrorism.
It's really something.
And you have to think that there
are not the flames, rather the smoke
that are unaccounted
all the way over here. Although we're only, like 12 miles away. Still, I mean, you can see how that's something, and be able to see that.
In New York City, they have closed down the major roadways. Andrew Meyer just gave it. The New York skyline has been changed forever. Collapse of the World Trade Center. 4 explosions followed the 2 planes striking the Twin Towers. Shortly before 9 o'clock this morning, the towers then eventually collapsed in a cloud of dust, sending bodies everywhere. People jumping out on very high stories, trying to save themselves. A gruesome scene at the World Trade Center. Disaster with it, so it's got to be the worst kind of disaster ever. People are comparing it to Pearl Harbor, and with good reason. And we think that most likely there will probably be more loss of life. That's it over there.
The terrorists, they had to attack the territory of the...
4 planes that were involved.
Give us an indication of where that is, how far from the World Trade Center is.
Now locked down, police clearing the streets, making room for officers and emergency personnel.
Trying to get out of Manhattan. At this point, we can tell you that the ferry has stopped running for
about 9-10. Any sort of involvement with it. If one were being skeptical, one might think that they were simply trying to save their own necks, because the United States government would be looking directly at Afghanistan for harboring bin Laden for so long.
Well, there's no doubt about that. The problem you're going to face is it's going to be hard to establish a definite link between these people and bin Laden. I mean, bin Laden. I expect for many of our viewers to look at the tape of the celebration in
arriving home, and we really want to talk a little bit about that. How do you tell your children what happened?
And
not to negate any of that.
Oh, absolutely.
The judge themselves, just the Twin Towers. There are many towns in this country that can't hold the number of people the Twin Towers hold. Wouldn't?
Natural. For mayor, he is giving out water. He's from Astoria, and he's in Queens giving out water bottles to people. And obviously, you know, the primaries have Oklahoma City. 168 people killed when the truck bomb went off outside the Murrah building.
And we thought it never could happen again.
No, here we're talking thousands. And
welfare and are not picked up by 6 p.m. can go to the 24-hour emergency care center. Again, that's at Cedar Brook School on Central.
Here on the Bronx, what the reaction is. We can tell you, though, that people, while shocked and saddened by this loss of life and this terror attacks here in the Bronx, they are
carried more than 50 passengers and crew members. Next call is from...
Certainly we'll have the last half an hour, 45 minutes.
This is all around the world. We have bombers that can fly from the United States that attack any place in the world. So that's probably what we would do if we found the people. But
this happens to be one where they don't watch television, obviously. You tell it in a different way. But I think the important ingredient here is that they watch it, if they watch it, together. Therefore,
H negative blood because they have a shortage of those, but in terms of all other types of blood, they seem to be in pretty good shape. John Miller, what are you finding on the telephone? Basically,
order military action, and then he sends the order to the Secretary of Defense, who transmits it to the field commander. But only the president has that authority under our Constitution.
Now, when you say he transmits it to the...
And we've got a report from CNN, Lee, that Building 7 of the World Trade Center is on fire right now. Is that right? Yes. Building 7, that's all we know right now. Building 7.
With fighter jets, but it's also interesting to note that in addition to the fighter jets that have been patrolling the skies over the Pentagon and also over the World Trade Center, the Navy has also dispatched aircraft carriers.
My sister-in-law's fiance, he also was on the 89th floor.
I feel bad for all of them because it's not just my problem. Now it's a problem of the United States.
A world in mourning, frightened of the horror that is in America, scared of what's to come. Hello and welcome to the Night Edition on News 12 New Jersey. I'm Janine Strafansi.
And I'm Tom Layson. Thanks so much for being with us as our special coverage, Attack on America.
The data recorders or black boxes could hold information about the last minutes of the hijacked commercial jetliners. The recorder from the United flight was found in the 8-foot deep crater caused by the crash. It will be analyzed by the National...
Twin Towers attacks continue. Mayor Giuliani took more than 1,700 people are missing now.
Chris, you guys are hot rolling. Confirmed you're hot rolling.
Yes, we are. Security workers have found as many as 70.
Say again? Jason, do we have time to switch batteries? Do we have time to switch batteries?
Pentagon attack in Carson, Pennsylvania. The mass suspect is approaching a wedding ring to the color of their telephone offers.
Doesn't matter. I need to know your name. You need to know my name.
Stand by, Chris. We're about 20 seconds away. 20 seconds away.
Tom, Janine, latest on what we do. Some rescue workers have been out of the wreckage walking around.
Working hard, Jamie?
An iron worker built to rescue 7 of the people
It's been
who were
alright
found
lately.
today.
Yeah.
He's getting them out with a great feeling.
In the last 2 days.
We all cheer because
Part of the story now with News 12 Long Island's Tracy Everson.
These are just 2 of the 4,763 missing.
I try to walk down there, sit down there for like 3 hours after.
U.S. Marshals and Port Authority police armed with shotguns and semi-automatic.
York Patrol.
And they said that even though other
The rubble of the World Trade Center.
Adjacent to a telephone. I'd be perfectly happy to hear him on the telephone.
On the look, and issues.
And one more development.
That's right. As far as the
Building in New York.